like
Yeah, I
moving
mean,
here was so hard.
absolutely. I think I can relate with you guys coming here more than in the U.S. because here, like when I came from the Philippines to the United States, 1985, man, they were like, "What is a Filipino? Like, are you ching chong ching?" Like they would make fun of me. They would be like, "You
Racist
Chinese
joke.
boy?" I'm like, "I'm not Chinese. Like I don't even speak Chinese or Japanese or Korean."
He's brown.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
not
like,
white.
I was lighter back then, but so like I know definitely understand where you guys come from, not fitting in, not being accepted, especially like we did come from more majority white Americans, so we were kind of always kind of like the outliers, or I would say not the outcasts because we were accepted, but like we were always just different, right? So I definitely understand that. But first of all, are you done, Taylor? I didn't want to take the mic. I just wanted to say something about the super alien.
Well, oh yeah, also I was mad too because I was like, why am I here if I didn't God never talked to me. God never was like,
Yeah, I felt
yeah,
the same way.
you have like
We both felt the same way.
Bro,
we would
this
talk
is
about it
why.
in my room all the time. Like, why are we here if God didn't speak
That's
to
why I
me?
was saying like me and Ava would like always be like this because like we felt the same thing, but obviously we have like different perspectives. But like I was like, bro, God did not say anything to me. I didn't feel anything. Like when we were in Manorville, I read the Bible every day. Like
Girl had a Bible TikTok.
Yeah, please don't watch that. A little cringy. It was dope, but like a little cringy. But like I didn't feel it, so I was like, why am I only doing this because my parents are saying that they felt this, and like I was just like so mad at myself, mad at my parents, mad at life. And then it was also really hard to fit in, like because I was growing up, and like the boys, me, I had no friends, like no friends.
We still don't have any.
I had one friend, but like I couldn't even speak to her. I had to speak to her through a translator.
Yeah,
which was also really
not a
hard,
fun time.
which was also really hard. Didn't know the language, and I was just like so mad at myself. I'm like, I can't talk to anybody. I have no friends, and it was just like I didn't know how to feel, and I don't know. Like I had to like grow up so fast, and like I don't know how to explain it. Like.
Oh, you had to grow up fast.
Like I don't know. It was just like I wish I was either younger, a little bit younger, or a little bit older, because I was like in the middle and like trying to figure things out. And being in a different country, it doesn't help. Like if I was in the States, maybe it would be a little bit easier. But like here in Colombia, moving, everything changing, and like you changing yourself, like I didn't even know how to handle that. So
Yeah, it was a lot of changing. I feel like how old was I? I was like 14.
yeah, I think
Or like no, I was like 13 or 14. I think. No, I think I just turned 14 in December.
Oh yeah.
And my body was changing, my emotions were changing, like everything was changing, and then more that like everything around me was changing too. It's not like a good mix. Like it's
Yeah,
like very
not.
like hard to try and understand your feelings, your body, like your emotions when everything around you is changing and yourself also is changing. So it's kind of like, and I feel like also like from like Quorum to Manorville, it was a change there. From here, from Manorville to here, it was a change. So it's like changing like constantly, and you're like, why can't I just stay in one place like everybody else?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I just like have a normal friend group, have a normal like life? Like, why does it have to be like this? Where I never fit in? Why like do I like? Why does everything around me always change? Like, it's something that like you have to like be so mentally strong. Like living in another place, like you have to be so mentally strong.
Yeah, I remember when me and you would go to the malls and stuff. And I just remember like Ava saying like cuz we would see friend groups in
And
the malls.
we would like cry in the
We
mall
would literally
watching
like
people
get
with
so
their
emotional,
friends.
and we would be like, we wish we had that friend group. Like we wish we had friends. And I like literally remember it. I don't
No,
remember the
I do
exact mall,
too.
but like I remember that she was like I literally wish we had that. And it was just like so depressing.
It was something that I was so like jealous of. Like
Yeah,
I
it
was so
was
jealous of people that like had friends and that like could go out and like understand. Like I'm so like social anxiety. Like I don't like to like order things. Like even in
Oh my gosh,
America where
same.
I spoke the language, I would make my dad order for me. I like I'm not very good at talking to other people, so like even like being in another country and like having to order something or like having to like try and understand what someone random is talking to you, like I was just like, what the heck? like,
Yeah.
like I was just like, why am I even here? Like trying to understand this person and I don't literally understand anything. And Taylor would be like, Eva, I don't understand either. And we would just be like, no
Uh,
say. And we would just be like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So I feel like having like that I don't know anything mindset, more when you're like younger, it's like so hard. Like I don't know where I am, I don't know where I belong, I don't know like where are my friends, like I don't know where God is. Like that's like I feel like was the most something that was really hard for me. Like being alone and
yeah,
like
yes.
I want to address, like, I know you guys talked a lot about how you guys felt when you guys first got here. So I have to like kind of like tell you guys how I felt, because I don't think maybe you guys don't even really know how I felt. So for you guys to know out there is I worked for a company for 17 years in corporate America. Man, that was so boring. I mean, I was very thankful for the job because it provided for my family, but that's not it for me. Like when God told me I'm going to be a missionary, I was so excited. I know it was going to be hard, but I think my perspective versus my wife's and the girls and Caleb was probably very different because I was like excited. So I had COVID. Like I think Ava said, I almost died. Did you say that earlier? I almost
He
died.
was like choking all the
he
time.
was basically like dying on his
Yeah,
deathbed.
he couldn't breathe,
I
and
almost
it
died
was
in my
worse in the
pastor and my
hotel.
friend's house because I was
Yeah.
like, that's where we stayed for a while after the hotel. Shout out to Pastor Matt, like who let us stay all with like COVID in his
Yeah.
house. Shout out to you and Christina. Hopefully you guys watch this. So after me and your mom decided, okay, we're just gonna go. We're just gonna go to Colombia, even if we have COVID. We did like something really sketchy where we just went. We didn't even have like the thing that said that we were clear, that we were negative. We just went to
Yeah,
Colombia.
we were like,
That was
bye.
already so
I
sketch.
don't even know how we got here.
For real.
We still had COVID. We literally still
Yeah,
had
we all
Yeah, I
had
don't even
COVID.
remember. I know
I'm like coughing in the customs line.
everyone with double masks on.
Yeah.
everyone was looking at my dad like
Yeah, like get away
He
from
was
me.
literally like dying in the line.
Yeah. So they I remember when we were in immigration and they stamped the thing that says you're gonna have to quarantine for 2 weeks and stay in the hotel.
Oh my
And our
gosh.
hotel had a pool and then the beach was next door. I was like, yo, I am down for this. It's not like getting quarantined in New York where you're just like it's cold, it's like depressing,
Yeah.
it's gray. It's like there's nothing to do. We had the beach, the pool, so I got better in like a week. Remember? I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, he loved it.
I was like from like it was like Superman who had kryptonite to like Superman saving the world. Like it was just like I had so much energy. I was so happy. But for me, my viewpoint was I loved it because I was like I don't have to go to show up to 9 to 5. I just get to do what God tells me to do. But of course, it was hard. It was hard to deal
Yeah.
with like Maddie leaving. I didn't know how you guys felt. We didn't really talk the way we talk now. So like when you guys say this, I didn't even know, and half of this is really good. Like we try not to talk before the podcast.
Did
Well,
you
this is our
think?
first podcast.
Did you like think that we were like also going through stuff, or like you were like, no, we're
I
fine?
didn't even think about it because I was thinking about your mom mostly because your mom was crying
Yeah,
every day. Like
that's
so, I was just trying to
understandable.
like, it's gonna be okay, babe. So I didn't even have a chance to really ask you guys. I know like Ava was sad about Maddie leaving because I remember at the airport she was crying profusely at the airport. I just remember
Mhm.
that, and I was like, Ava's gonna be okay. We'll be together one day. Everything's a season, you know. That's my famous line. Everything's just a season. So for me, that was my outlook was like, um, God gave me and your mom this word that we're gonna be missionaries, but I didn't even bother to ask you guys or talk to you guys. That was my fault. So this is why we're doing this podcast. So parents, talk to your kids, talk to them, ask them how they feel, ask them what's going on. I don't think I ever did that in the first year, right?
First year here in
Yeah, Colombia. I don't think I've ever asked you how you guys doing. I think we started just family meetings a year and a half ago.
yeah, I think
yeah, we started this thing and it's called family meetings. So whatever family problem or family issue we need to talk
Or
about,
feelings.
we get called into a family meeting, which is here on this beautiful bar stools. and we talk about our feelings.
My back be hurting because we be like talking for 2 hours.
But like,
and I'm like,
And then
I
my
love
mom
this.
does like a 2 hour prayer at the end. So it's a very
She is the real pastora.
it's very very fun
Yeah.
to have.
But on the opposite end of that, we never talked. Like, we didn't talk about things in Manorville. We didn't talk about things in Coram. I don't
Yeah.
think we'll probably talk maybe later in the show if we have ever Maddie on. We'll talk about what happened in Coram, but we never talked about things that were really like traumatic or even just regular. Like, hey, how you feeling today? Like, we asked Ava now, how you feeling? You only have 37 days, whatever, 35 days left before you go for school. Or Taylor, how do you feel?
It's actually like 30 days now. I
30 days left.
1
so
month.
we got to make this month count.
I'm gonna cry.
So talk. Parents, kids, talk. Talk to your kids. Kids, tell your parents how you feel. If they're not, communication is key. I think this is why we're doing this podcast. So, like, I didn't even know you guys felt that way. I didn't know you guys were sad and mad that we got an apartment in Laureles. That's the apartment you guys are talking
Yeah,
about.
it was crazy.
So I didn't even know that. Like, this is crazy to hear, but I could and I understand how they feel, because my wife and I, we didn't even talk to them. We just said we're moving because that's just the way it was. Like, the only thing I want to say is, like, you guys are still under our covering, meaning like you guys are still under the roof. So my word from God, and so is your mom's word from God, is like, that's what you guys have to follow. That's the only thing I could tell you guys is like, I don't know how I'm not God, but I don't think God is gonna tell every kid in the house you're gonna be missionaries with your parents. I think you guys kind of have to just be with your parents.
Yeah, that's what like upsetted me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think that's what like made me like upset, because I didn't really understand that. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, I have to go because my parents are going,
Mhm.
not because, oh, God called me, or oh, God did this.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
I get that.
like, what
Yeah.
the heck?
But like now, okay, so let me just finish talk real quick how I felt. So like I felt really like excited. Then I remember the first year I was so excited, and it finally hit me. Like, I'm not Colombian. I'm not one of these guys. I don't speak Spanish still. Even to this day, I'm not a great Spanish speaker, but I can hold my own, and especially when I'm mad, right?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, boy busts it down when he's mad.
He be talking really fast. He like, I'm not even gonna say it, but like,
Even to this day, I don't feel like I fit in. Like, sometimes I have a hard time when there's a room. I try to find the person who speaks English. Like, thank God for Pastor Jeff or Jonathan or Amanda or Benjamin or whoever speaks English. Darum, Danny, all these guys from church, or like in the foundation, nobody really we haven't even talked about the foundation yet, but in the foundation, nobody really talks English, speaks English. So I really feel out of place too. So, but I'm an adult, so I understand. I'm 45 years old. I can handle it. For kids that are growing, like even Ava, who's 17, her brain's not fully developed yet. So is yours. Like, you guys, it's harder for you guys. Like, even when you guys told me, like, you guys were going through puberty, changes in your body, changes in your hormones, that must have been so hard. So I feel like I'm number one. My mom, my wife and I, your mom and I, are very proud of you guys. We're so proud. We didn't know this. She's gonna probably watch this and cry.
She's
Right?
gonna cry.
She's gonna cry, but
Love you, mommy.
but I think this is so important that you guys tell us this. This is so raw. Like, we didn't practice this. We just said,
Yeah.
they're like, you should have seen us before this. We're like, this is what we're gonna say. And she's trying to make it like a YouTube channel.
Nah, I was like,
I was like to dance and to edit it in the beginning of the video. I was like,
Yeah.
girl, this is not a YouTube video. This
It
is
was
a
like, this is a
podcast.
podcast. This is a little bit more tamer, Taylor.
no, like
This is not like Mr. Beast, like, or like Ice Speed, right? Ice Show Speed or whatever.
that's bro. I just be as a streamer, not podcast.
I thought he was gonna say Ice Spice.
Ice Spice.
I thought he was about to say Ice Spice.
This
But,
is why I get cringe.
But this is so
Just
cool
like-
because this is how we are every day. This is just how we talk. But we get to talk about subjects. We get to talk about really deep things, but also have fun. You see our personalities. But back to what you guys were saying. Last question. What's the timer check? Let's see. Just so
15 minutes.
we're at 50 minutes. We have 10-minute limits. These people are gonna be like, I'm ready to check out.
You guys,
I need to go to a party. I need to go to my barbecue. I can't watch this. Just watch it in pieces, or watch it in the car. Just the person who's driving, don't watch. But well,
They can listen.
oh yeah, they can listen. True, it's a podcast. Oh yeah,
See, you think it's
not
a
a YouTube
video
channel.
Guys, I'm telling you.
One last question is, what were the hardest things, or the hardest things when you first got here that are not so hard now, and what is it that you think are still hard, even though we're here almost 4 years later?
For me, one of the hardest things was like being alone. I think being alone and like not having friends and not having my like other family members like my uncles, my aunts, my cousins, my sister, my older sister. It was really hard, but I feel like now I have a purpose here and like I have like a reason to be here and like I feel like it's not that hard anymore with like being without my family. Like cuz I understand what I'm doing here and like I learned so many things here and I'm so grateful to be here and to like go through the experiences that I've been through and like experience and experiment things here and I'm so grateful for it. So I feel like um the things that were hard for me before like being alone, not having any friends, um I feel like it's not as hard for me anymore. I mean, it's still hard like being alone and like not fitting in, but it's something that like I accepted now. Like I'm never gonna fit in here. I could be half Colombian, but I'm never gonna fit in here ever because I'm just not from here. I'm not from here, and I can finally accept it and be like, I'm not from here. I'm never gonna be from here, but um, I'm grateful that I was able to experience things here and um, meet people and have the foundation and serve. So I feel like that for me isn't as hard as it was before for me. And the same thing, like for me the hardest thing was like not having a purpose. Like why am I like doing school here? Why am I living here if I'm not doing anything? And now I feel like now that we have the foundation, which we haven't talked about yet, but now that we have the foundation, now that we're helping families, helping kids, I feel like now I have a purpose. And even though I'm leaving, like I still like served and I still did what God called me to do, which is important to me. I think it's not as hard for me anymore. Um,
Something that's still hard for you.
Something that's still hard for me. I think like understanding like the culture. I think I don't understand it and like not like that I'm trying to fit in anymore because I know I'm not going to fit in, but I feel like I don't understand the culture. So like even like going out and like seeing other people and like see the way that they do things, like I feel like I still don't understand it and it's still like kind of like what? Like sometimes somebody says something to me like a word or a phrase or like says that we're gonna do something and I don't understand still. And I feel like it's hard, not because I'm trying to fit in, but because like I just don't understand other people. And it's like hard to like not understand the way other people are for me.
Something that was hard for me that's not hard for me now. I think it's the same thing with the purpose. Like I was like so mad. I was like, what am I even doing here? And I didn't like realize how important like God's purpose was for me. And like Ava said, we haven't talked about the foundation yet, but like once we started to help kids, help families, give out food, talk to the families, like it was just like I started to like God started to speak to me, and He showed me so many times um, my purpose here, and I feel like it's not hard for me to understand anymore because I know that if I hadn't gone through all of this stuff, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. So yeah, and something that's still hard for me is trying to fit in. Like I accept it, I still try to fit in, I still try to be a different person because I'm still trying to figure who I am now and like try to like make friends. And it is like it's been hard since the beginning. It still is. My school, a bunch of people talking about me, saying things about me. The same thing in the foundation. There's people that still say things about me, and it's just like always like trying to like pick me apart. And I just try to like be someone else so they don't do that, and it's still hard for me. That's something that I really struggle with. But yeah, I want to ask you that same question.
What was the question that I asked? I don't even remember what I asked.
What was hard for you that isn't hard for you now, and
Ah,
what is still hard for you?
so for me, what was really hard was just communication, because like literally, I knew no Spanish, didn't understand any Spanish, and like I really needed your mom for everything. Like the other day, I think I told you guys I got into a car accident. I didn't even call your mom right away. I was just like, I
Yeah.
understand what they're saying. They're not mad at me because I got into a car accident. So for me, like ordering my coffee back then was so hard. I used to get social anxiety because I didn't know the language, not because I have social anxiety. Like I was like, how do I order this? Like I'm gonna
Yeah, you would like put it in your translator and be
just
like,
remember. I'm
be
gonna
like,
remember it. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Do you? I won't tell. I won't say because it's a PG type of podcast, but I'm not gonna say what I said at McDonald's.
oh my gosh,
No, you
no.
guys don't. You could ask me that on the side.
We
No, don't.
translated something very wrongly into a bad word by accident.
If you guys want to know, like and subscribe. I'll tell you in private.
We'll tell you in the next
Yeah.
episode if you like and
Oh my
subscribe.
gosh. Yeah. So like, I remember all the times you guys would make fun of me on the McDonald's drive-through, and I would try to order. I'd be like nougat,
No,
nuggets.
it's not because it was like him saying it. It was just like it was just so funny because like I don't know. It was like us all trying to understand.
We still make fun of him to
Oh,
this
yeah.
day about how he talks even bad in the English. In when we're in the United States, he talks bad in the drive-thru too. So
I just have bad drive-through etiquette, I guess. I don't know, but like, yeah. So for me, like, I don't struggle with that anymore because I can. I remember we were in the foundation, which like you all said we haven't talked about. Like I remember I was evangelizing to the guy. Remember Felipe that lived across the street? Felipe
Oh,
had
yeah.
the long hair, and he.
with your translator.
Yeah.
It was
But I was like talking
a
to him in
special
Spanish and
moment.
trying to tell him about God and Jesus loves him and not to fight with his dad. So like to me that's nothing. Like it doesn't bother me. But what still bothers me here is just like I don't want to make this sound really bad, but like I feel like just people here are very incompetent. Like they're not very like when you go somewhere, like you always get bad service. Like I just
like understanding the culture. Like
yeah, understanding the culture. Like I understand. Like
I don't
it still
understand
bothers
why
me.
people are so slow.
That's what I'm saying. Like I
Like-
don't understand that. Like it still bothers me. I don't know why, but it still bothers me because I guess I am a gringo, even though I'm Filipino.
I think it's because in the United States, people like are always like on like
And a rush.
in a rush, like always like fast motion,
Yeah.
like not slow motion, fast motion.
But yeah, that's,
And here they're in slow motion.
but
So-
also but yeah, that still bothers me. What bothers me too sometimes is like because I in a way like it's kind of back talking my first answer was because I'm not great at really speaking Spanish. Sometimes I don't have the conversations I really want to have, or I don't get to really get to connect with people that way I would if I spoke their language. Like because there's a lot of guys I want to talk to.
so
that-
like a language barrier.
yeah, but I still kind of get to do it. Certain guys that try with me, but like certain guys they don't even want to try with me because they're like, oh, he's gringo, he don't speak great Spanish. I don't even want to like to talk to him. So, but that's basically it. So let's close it out. Let's close out the show. But how you guys feel about the show? Thank you guys so much for watching. How do you guys feel about the show?
Great.
Good. I don't want to cry anymore.
Great.
I'm gonna
great.
cry in all the episodes. You're gonna see me cry. So just get ready.
But like real quick, just talk about like any like the advice of like from the moving to America to now. What would be your advice for parents or kids to kind of like so because this is parental guidance with the Baes fam, right? So what would be your advice be as our last question so we can finish this out because it's been an
That's
hour.
what you said about the last
I
question.
know. I'm sorry. I just real quick, just like a sentence or two. What would be like the advice for parents, and I'll give you advice for kids.
Communicate with your kids, even though you're going through something. Like you always have to try, like just try a little bit, because you never know. Like what you said, you didn't even know that we were feeling that way, and we didn't know that you were feeling that certain way. So it's like always just like communication is most important in family. And yeah, I think
Yeah, I agree. I think communication and like being transparent is really important. Like if you sugarcoat things and you're like just basically lying about how you feel, it's never gonna like nobody's ever gonna understand you. And like even like parents with kids, kids with parents, like if you lie about your feelings or anything, like you're not gonna get anywhere. No one's ever gonna understand how you really feel. So just be like communicate and be transparent about your feelings and whatever you're going through.
That's great. Really, really good advice from Ava and Taylor. For me, I learned a lot from the experience of coming here to Colombia. But what I would say for kids is like talk to your parents. I think you guys would have told us that you guys were mad at us. it probably could have been bad or good, but at least you would have told us. And I can't say, oh, you never told me, right? So I think like the same way is like, yeah, kids. I mean, parents talk to your kids, but kids also talk to your parents. Say, hey, this is how I feel. Like, why are you guys getting an apartment? Like, are we living here? Like, what are we doing? Like, how come I don't? This is not what God called me. Like, you guys could have done that. I'm not putting the blame on you. I'm just saying they could have just been
Um,
communicated. So I could have tried at least.
for you, what would be advice to a kid? For a kid that like feels like they can't talk to their parents because their parents won't listen to them or they won't understand or they'll get yelled at. What would your advice be like instead of communicating? Because what if like the kid wants to communicate but like your parent isn't gonna understand?
I mean,
What
that's a
what
really
would your
tough
advice be?
question because I think that you have to try in like very various ways. So like some parents are very busy and they work so many jobs. Some parents are they don't like to talk because they don't like to talk. Like families don't like to talk. I'm actually gonna preach about that in 2 weeks about like families don't talk. So I think that as a kid, if you're listening, kids or parents or um, try to talk to them like face to face. Maybe send them a message on text. I hate text, but that's the only way. Or write them a letter. I think letters. Like I remember these guys just gave me like my Father's Day gifts with their little notes.
He
Man, that
was
was like
bawling his eyeballs out.
I was bawling. I was bawling. Like
I've never seen him cry as much.
so, I think letters are really good. Like a letter, people will actually try to read a letter because sometimes like if I'm doing something and I'm like, and Taylor's like, Dad, can I go to the mall with my friend? And I'm just doing something, yeah, whatever. But if Taylor hands me something, I'm gonna take my time to read it, or Ava takes the time to write. I'm gonna like read it. What do they want from me now? what is this? Is
Daddy,
this
please let me go out. Pretty please.
like what? Why am I getting a letter? That means it's serious, right? So I maybe like try to find other ways to communicate to your parents, kids. If you're watching this, I hope you guys are too. Watching this, teenagers, try to talk to them in different ways. You know how your dad could be. You know how your mom could be. Me, I'm very visual. I like videos rather than books. I've been reading books, but I like videos. Send them a video. Be like, hey, mom, dad, it's me. I just want to tell you this is how I feel. I can't tell you in person because I'm shy or I feel like you guys are gonna be mad at me. Send them a video. Be creative or do a letter, do a card, um, draw a picture. I don't know. Do something. Be creative. Just communicate to your parents. And I think communication. I think this is going to be probably the only one of the answers that's going to come in these episodes is communicate, communicate, communicate. This is what we're doing. We're communicating to the world of what we're doing, and all our mistakes and all. See, that was my mistake with your mom. Like we didn't even ask you guys how you guys felt. We just kind of just going through the emotions too. I'm trying to deal with your mom, dealing with coming to Colombia. So mental note, ask them how they're doing. So anything? Last comments, questions?
Like and subscribe.
Thank you guys for watching the
Thank
parental
you guys
guidance
for
with the Baes fam.
watching.
We love you guys. Ava and Taylor, Ian, we out. Thank you. Just like Taylor said,
What?
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, and we'll tell you what we were talking about.
McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's.
Okay.
It's a secret.
See you guys.
Bye.
Stay tuned. Bye.